My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on, tell me, baby. In the pond, where the sun don't ever shine. I was shivering all night too. My girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cool wind blows. Where's that, baby? In the pond, where the sun don't ever shine. I was shivering all night too. My girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on and tell me something about it. In the pond, where the sun don't ever shine. I was shivering all night too. Shiver for me now. Down there. My husband was a hard-working man, till a mile and a half from here. What happened to him? His head was bound in a driver wheel, and his body had never been found. My girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on and tell me something about it. In the pond, where the sun don't ever shine. I was shivering all night too.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of a Bud and a Bull Show. Your host, the holy Bud Bum Logshoes, signing into the log pipe.
And Lobo
Special guest Lobo Sa in the peanut gallery tonight. Really in here showing. Everybody, before we start this episode, I want to say tonight, last Wednesday, we broke a record here on 5 years of Bud and a Bull Show. We waded through the worst tank of mummy shit that anybody would ever want to even come near. That was, without a doubt, the worst mummyish episode we've ever done in the history of the show. Because of that, no mummyism tonight. No bullshit, no nothing. We're going to be totally biased against the mummy shit tonight.
I mean, that was a whole hour.
Over an hour. We never, even in the session days, the great pot purge of 2018, we didn't, none of it was it ever that bad. So tonight, Kim Bongs Nose Blunt, so let's go into that boat, Kenny and Andrew.
Yes.
Oh, and Andrew, just to let you know, Andrew, you're 30 miles away from the cheapest place to ever live in the whole United States is Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
We found out that today.
Yeah, Andrew lived out that way in Waldron. Still got to send her those corn cob pipes.
Gonna send me your package.
That package.
I've been to Fort Smith, I think. Fayetteville.
Yeah. Really?
I lived in Texarkana, which is right on the border of
Yeah.
Texas and Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah.
I thought there it is.
Oh,
Carburetor.
everybody, tonight we're covering Colorado first, always here on the Bud and Bull Show, because that's our home state. That's where we live. So, big breaking news, everybody. Breaking news, no mummyism. Normal.org. Colorado governor signs legislation doubling marijuana possession limits in the state of Colorado. This was May 20th,
Yay!
2021. This was a couple days ago.
Came out of the tomb.
He did this on Thursday. Colorado came out of the tomb.
Out of the tomb.
Even though they're trying to go back in the tomb.
That's right.
We're still following that, but we're going to talk about that tonight.
Not tonight.
Democratic Governor Jared Polis, also known as Proboscis Nose, today signed legislation, House Bill 1090, it's called, into law, eliminating civil penalties for activities involving the possession of up to 2 ounces of either cannabis flower or concentrates. Now we're going to be talking.
Concentrate?
Yes, or concentrate. Both.
Wow.
Now we're going to be talking about this tonight because what we want to emphasize on this show is we want to talk about this law, what this means, and what we even called a local shop that we go to here in town, Cortez here, for our cannabis, to find out exactly from the horse's mouth basically what all this means. So we're going to be breaking that down on the show tonight for anybody coming from out of state or whatever that doesn't know, exactly how this works. It's really good, actually.
It actually is, yeah.
When Polis did this,
And why not?
it's about time Colorado joined other states who already have this. Ours is, for the longest time, has been only up to an ounce on your person. State law previously permitted adults to legally possess up to 1 ounce of either marijuana flower or concentrates for recreational purposes without penalty as long as they're 21 or older. By contrast, possessing between 1 and 2 ounces of cannabis was classified as a petty offense, punishable by a civil penalty of up to $100. House Bill 1090 eliminates those civil penalties. The measure also makes it easier for those with past marijuana convictions to petition the courts to have their records sealed. This is what Jared Polis said, quote, this is a very exciting bill in the vein of criminal justice reform because for far too long the consequences for people who have had a personal amount of cannabis before it has been legalized still had a long shadow on them for doing something that is fully legal today, Governor Polis said. They might have something on their record, and of course disproportionately people of color that might get in the way of them getting loans or leases or licenses or jobs or mortgages or many other things.
Houses?
Yeah, including housing.
Mm-hmm.
The new law took immediate effect upon him signing the bill on Thursday. And then we have another article to talk about. But
Yeah,
before
that's
we
really
get
jump right in, immediate
into
effect.
the-
I like that.
that's good too.
That's real good.
Before we get into our next article about it, which is also good, which what Polis wants to do now with that new law into effect, I want to talk a little bit about what this means. We called the local cannabis shop because we wanted to know if this meant you can go to the shop and purchase 2 ounces at a time or 16 grams of concentrate at a time. So Lobos Das called the shop and they said no, that it still is 1 ounce purchase limit or 8 grams of concentrate, but with this passed, you can now carry on your person up to 2 ounces, which would be 56 grams, I believe, of bud, the flower, the cannabis flower, or you can have up to 56 grams of concentrated marijuana on your person.
That's decent.
So basically, if we were to go on a vacation, you could have 2 ounces of flour. I could have 56 grams of 2 ounces of concentrates, and Lobo Shaz could have a shit ton of edibles. I think 1,600 milligrams, I believe.
The only problem is you can't cross state lines yet.
Yep.
But that's good, though. That is. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So, for like all the people coming here from Arizona or New Mexico, we wanted to clarify here on the Bud and the Bull show, it is still a 1 ounce purchase limit or 8 grams of concentrate purchase limit for recreational. And now the other bullshit, like we were saying with that other thing that we're following, still has not passed yet. So as of right now, Colorado has still not went into the tomb. And what I want to say, even though I know we're not talking about mummyism, I'm hoping that if that does get to Jared Polis's desk, I hope Governor Polis has enough sense about him, which I think he does, to fucking veto that shit.
Yeah.
And fucking end it right then and there, as he is like a president of Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope so.
And he's not Joe Biden, that's for fuck sure. So that's one thing we're going for. But anyway, everybody, another good thing Governor Proboscis knows is going to be doing here. This is from the Durango Herald, news source for us. Governor to issue more pardons now that Coloradans can legally possess up to 2 ounces of marijuana.
Well, that's good. At least
That's
he's not
great
waiting.
news. That he ain't waiting.
Right
He's going
away.
full
Thank
force.
you.
See, that's an unbandaged mummy.
That's yes. Mhm.
In October, Polis pardoned more than 2,700 people in Colorado convicted of possessing up to 1 ounce of cannabis. This was originally reported on by the Colorado Sun. It said Colorado Governor Jared Polis said Thursday he will issue additional pardons to Coloradans convicted of low-level marijuana possession crimes now that he's signed a bill into law allowing people to have up to 2 ounces of cannabis. And I know he's been wanting to do this for a while.
He
So
has
if you get
been.
pulled over, you can't go to jail.
What, for 2 ounces?
Yeah.
Not here, no.
No, before it was only a fine. An interesting thing about Colorado, I can fucking breathe. I don't know how many other states allow it like this, but in Colorado, their specific state law considers concentrate, such as that 99% isolate we have in the refrigerator in there, as being the same as 1 gram of this. The reason they look at it like that is it's all considered THC.
THC, I see.
It all fits under one category. They don't consider it, oh, this one's concentrated and that one's not.
Mm-hmm.
So in the state of Colorado, before he signed this, you could have up to 28 grams of THC on your person, meaning either bud or concentrate. Now that he signed this, you can have up to 56 grams of wax in your pocket, or that isolate in there if you want.
That's decent.
That's real good.
Yeah, it is.
But you just
Especially
said
if you're going on a
THC.
little trip.
So if that's 74% THC and that's 28% THC,
They don't differentiate between the two,
they don't differentiate.
which is good. Because
That's
otherwise,
99%.
that's what I mean. Because otherwise it would be, they'd be saying shit like, oh, you can only have 5 grams of concentrate when you're traveling. Like, say you want, of course you wouldn't need 56 grams. That's that's like enough to last 3-4 months, 5-6 months actually. if you, like, I don't know, for example, if you say we're going to go from Cortez here up to Denver for a week, we're going to rent a car, we're going to spend a whole week in a motel, you may want to bring, you know, if you have a whole load in your refrigerator, instead of buying it all up there and spending all your money, you may want to bring with 10 grams or something, and you could legally easily do that without breaking any laws. That part is good.
Yeah, that is
But like
good.
you said, yeah, you can't go to, say, the Grand Canyon or Monument Valley and leave
No.
the state of Colorado with that on you. That's a serious problem.
Yeah.
That would change if Joe Biden would come out of his tomb, which we know ain't going to happen, but, you know. And then, like we said, we're going to have an episode on that, too, in the future here, probably coming up soon. What are the real pros and cons of a federal legalization, like you were talking about?
Sounds like a good
Because,
article to me.
Well, everybody, including us here at Bud and Bowl, you know, are very pro-federal legalization for a long time, but now, you know, we've been starting to look at it from other aspects. There is some possible negative things that could happen, such as, you know, the stuff that was happening here in Colorado and is happening here in Colorado with THC caps, or one shoe size fits all everybody's medical problem or whatever it is. You know, oh, you can't have this many milligrams because this doctor's going to tell you we want it in pill form. You know, that kind of bullshit.
That's what I said. That's why sometimes I worry about the federal legalization.
Yeah, because
Because
Big
that'll
Brother
take-
comes in.
Yes.
It's
It takes over.
sticking it up our ass on our medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to have some health department run it like Illinois does.
Florida too.
And Florida.
does it too, yep.
Oh my God, but
In
Wow.
the goat without the goat.
my legs aren't cooperating tonight.
Well, I
But I'm
had a
trying
day
to
like
deal
that
with it.
yesterday, remember?
Yeah.
And that's all right.
Yeah, just deal with it. That's all you could do.
Mm-hmm.
We
But
hope
that's good
everybody.
news. Very good news, actually.
Yeah. Hope everybody really enjoyed that episode the other night. Bud and the Bowl in the grow house with the plants. We had one person write in about that. They're a new grower, they said, and they were wanting us to give them any kind of tips or anything that we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, why not?
But, you know, we had to start somewhere, too.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I mean, I've grown in illegal states. This is my actual first grow
Legal grow.
here in a legal state of Colorado. You know, we grew in Oregon, too, a little bit when we were there. But
Mm-hmm.
that was, you know, kind of shitty with their laws when they started going, you know, slightly in the tomb on that, inspecting people's grow houses.
And then the crop went, remember?
Mhm.
The
And the crop
mites,
went
or
with the
whatever
mites.
it was. I forgot what they said it
One
was.
plant was a fucking male one time. That's when I started going feminized seeds. I will never ever to go out without. And, that was another time. And yeah, there was a few different times. I think about that time when I was growing in Illinois. This was back when Illinois was totally illegal. I'm talking totally illegal. It was like 2008,
kid.
I believe. And I was growing back there. Remember Fred?
Mm-hmm.
Dear, he's back there growing those fucking dope plants. Get the phone right now. Give me the phone. I'm going to call the fucking police on both of them. Remember that? Dope plants. Not marijuana plants. Dope plants.
His dad was a pure mummy.
Pure
wasn't
mummy.
he?
Classic mummy. Actual classic one.
The classic version.
It's one of the worst there is.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Oh, my boating good. It says,
Kenny, when we getting jerky again?
oh. God, my boating good. An article. Colorado Governor Jared Polis said he will issue additional pardons to Coloradans convicted of lower-level marijuana possession crimes. House Bill 1090, which Polis made a law on Thursday, doubles Colorado's recreational marijuana possession limit to 2 ounces for adults 21 and older. It also gives people convicted of possessing up to 2 ounces of cannabis the chance to more easily seal their criminal record if they haven't committed a crime since. The consequences for people who had a personal amount of cannabis before it had been legalized still has a long shadow, Polis said. For doing something that is fully legal today that might have something on their records. Of course, that's disproportionately people of color, he said. Polis, a Democrat, said his office will begin reviewing records over the next few months in preparation for additional pardons. In October 2020, Polis pardoned more than 2,700 people convicted of possessing up to 1 ounce of marijuana. The measure is another step in unraveling the criminal consequences of Colorado's past marijuana laws before Colorado came out of the tomb, everybody. It is about time. It really is.
You know, because they should have done this a long time ago.
A long time ago. It says, before Colorado came out of the tomb, several laws which disproportionately affected black and other people of color, said Representative Alex Valdez of Denver, prime sponsor of the legislation, along with Senator Julie Gonzalez of Denver. We believe, like the voters did in 2012, that cannabis isn't worth haunting people's efforts to get housing or a job, and we are taking meaningful efforts to help people get on with their lives, Valdez said. Before the passage of House Bill 1090, people convicted of possessing between 1 and 2 ounces of marijuana had to file a petition with the court to try to have their records sealed. That process included notifying the district attorney that charged them and additional court hearings. People are still required to file a petition, but the new law expedites that process. Courts are now required to seal convictions without the opportunity for a district attorney to object, so as long as people meet all the criteria. The expedited petition process applies only to people who haven't been convicted of another crime since their release from probation or parole, or after the criminal process related to their conviction has ended. Advocates of the new law say it will eliminate bureaucratic and legal barriers that can cause significant delay for people seeking to seal their records if a person has the other convictions tied to the same arrest or subsequent criminal charges. They could be still required to go through a conventional petition process. The legislation also makes people with a Class 3 felony conviction for marijuana cultivation, meaning they cultivated 30 or more plants illegally, eligible to petition the court for their record to be sealed. The measure doesn't offer a fast-tracked sealing process as it does for possession convictions, but currently those with cultivation convictions can't have their records sealed at all.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty, God bless it, bad there. Everybody, we want to show you a,
Senator Valdez.
hold on a sec, we want to show you a video here of actual Jared Polis, Governor Polis signing the actual bill into law. So we're going to take a quick break here and we'll show you that. And then we'll be back in Balls of the Boat. Get them bongs and those blunts ready, everybody. Get those bubblers ready. Okay, everybody, we're going to watch Governor Polis signing the 2 ounces into law. There it is right there.
The next bill is the criminal marijuana offense bill, Representative Valdez and Senator Gonzalez. Good, thank you. This is a very exciting bill as well, in the vein of criminal justice reform, because for far too long, the consequences for people who had a personal amount of cannabis before it had been legalized still has a long shadow on them. So for doing something that is fully legal today, they might have something on their record, and of course that's disproportionately people of color, that might get in the way of them getting loans or leases or licenses or jobs or mortgages or many other things. And so last session, thanks to the hard work of the legislature, I was able to sign a bill that allowed for mass pardons for individuals who had convictions for possessions of up to 2 ounces. 3 months later, we did a pardon for 2,732 people, but possession of 1 to 2 ounces was still illegal, and so we always wanted to conform the who was pardoned in the past with what is legal today. And so with this bill, the General Assembly, which they're doing in this bill, raises the possession limit to 2 ounces. Now we will be able to look at using that pardon authority, which we plan to do, as soon as it's drawn up in the next month or two, and we'll invite you to when we're able to do that. But thank you for doing that. I'm so excited that Colorado Bureau of Investigation worked on this bill, Department of Public Safety, our great legislative sponsors, Senator Gonzalez and Representative Valdez, And there's a lot of thoughtful follow-up on last year's bill and really taking the great next step with this important effort. And I'll turn it over to Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. This is a great bill. Like the governor said, we believe it's going to help folks that have these convictions move on with their life, have an equal opportunity to compete in housing and other important things. And it's just another step in Colorado's move towards reforms that make life better for people. So thank you for signing the bill today.
Senator?
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Representative, to my partner here at the legislature. About this time a year ago, we all stood over at a dispensary in the north side and celebrated the work that we did last year to really end some of the prohibitions that still existed in statute, given the prior drug war that existed here in Colorado and across the country. And at that press conference, when you celebrated the ability to now go forward and pardon people who had those lower possession convictions on their records, we stood in front of Simply Pure Dispensary and said, and we'll come back and we will continue this work in order to ensure that we are respecting the will of the Colorado voters when they passed Amendment 64. And here we are today, right? And so it's a great day. I'm stoked to be here along so many people who have worked to make this bill, House Bill 1090, a reality. And I'm excited to see it signed into law today.
Well, let's make it official. Here we go.
There he goes.
It's official. Here's a signing pen for you. Congratulations.
That's what it looks like when a state comes out of the tomb, everybody.
Climbed out of it.
Right out of the tomb.
The next bill, HB 21.
Okay, everybody, we got another short clip here to watch. You might see some similarities
Proboscis
there.
monkeys. They are named after their strange,
Wow, that looks like somebody we
noses.
just seen.
But proboscis have also been called the cows of canopy. They are the only primate with a digestive system equipped to chew the cud.
They're kind of cute. Right now I know why they call them proboscis.
To minimize
Yeah.
the level of any poison in their bodies, no one plant can dominate their diet. So they are constantly on the move, and then pick only the youngest, less toxic leaves.
That's interesting. Look at these toes.
Their immense bellies are packed with a very long,
Fred.
extended gut and a complex stomach with 4 separate chambers that take 50 hours to digest dinner. And despite all this, most of the forest's foliage is too difficult to digest. In this nutrient war, driven by the monsoon, the trees are runaway winners. They not only dictate the bodies and lifestyles of these monkeys, but ensure that the density of mammals is kept low.
Welcome back, everybody. I'd like to, first of all, congratulate our governor, Jared Polis, for doing that. You know, I'm really happy Colorado's really starting to kind of come out of the tomb a little bit.
Yes.
As far as, you know, that spectrum of things. And that brings us to our next article, everybody. We're going to cover a little bit of other news here. California bill to legalize possession of psychedelics heads to Senate floor after committee action. Now, this is really gaining momentum. We've been following this for a while. This was 2 days ago, published on by Marijuana Moment. This is really big news because if you notice, they're saying legalize, not decriminalize. They're not like Oregon decriminalized. They're going to literally try to legalize shrooms.
That would be fantastic to do that. That's a big step.
No other state's done that
No.
yet. I mean, I think that needs to be the next thing after marijuana. It really does. They need to start legalizing mushrooms, which are safe also, and then, you know, move on from there. There's probably other things they need to study and learn about these plant roots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that stuff like that. That's God put here for people to do.
Yeah, yeah. Different things that we really don't know the benefits of it at all.
Mm-hmm. Some of those cultures, I don't know which ones, but
Roots and
the
things.
South American, not Indian, but native South American tribesmen and stuff.
Yeah.
They, some of them actually, they swear by, so like those roots, those plant roots and stuff, the psychedelic ones.
Yeah.
That make you hallucinate, like if you did a mushroom or acid or something. They, some of those tribesmen and shamans and stuff really swear by that stuff actually. So I think they should, you know, hopefully California get this thing really going. They're doing pretty good with it, because if it already cleared their committee thing, you know, that's good news. I don't know what it is. There it is, a little tamping tool.
It gives you cotton mouth pretty bad.
Yeah, this is that Blue Dream we're smoking. Haven't even added the hash yet to it. It says, a bill to legalize possession of psychedelics in California will advance to the Senate floor after clearing a major procedural hurdle on Thursday. The legislation, sponsored by Senator Scott Weir, a Democrat, had already moved through 2 policy committees, but in order to make it on the floor calendar, it had to be cleared by the Senate Appropriations Committee as part of a large suspense file on a key deadline. Otherwise, it would have been a dead for the session. The panel approved it in a 5-2 vote. There was no debate on the proposal. Rather, the chair simply said which of the hundreds of the bills that were on the suspense file would proceed to the floor. This means the psychedelics reform measure will be taken up by the full chamber by June 4th. If it passes there, it will be heard by the assembly and then potentially head to the governor's desk, Joe Holstein, Governor Newsom. If enacted into law, the bill would remove criminal penalties for possessing or sharing numerous psychedelics, including psilocybin mushrooms, DMT, ibogaine, LSD, and MDMA for
That's
adults
that one.
21 and older.
Ibogaine. That's a
that
root.
plant root. Yeah, that plant root, that psychedelic root, like I was talking about earlier.
Ibogaine.
Now that
I better gain something.
is, I mean, even actual LSD and everything, they're going with DMT. I mean, making that legal like that, the mushrooms alone would be a great thing if they do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's about fucking
I
time.
thought DMT was man-made.
It's,
That's from the toad.
it can come from off the toad's back, yes, it's a version of it.
Like a cane
And
toad's
I believe
back.
there is a man-made version. See, I don't know much about DMT. That's one thing I've actually never tried. I heard that, like, prior to 2011, I think, it was literally, I've done the wrong damn thing here. Literally, like, Joe Rogan or something was saying it was considered, I guess, legal or not regulated here in the United States. See, I don't know much about it. Like I said, I just heard about it a couple years ago, actually. And now it is illegal, but then it wasn't illegal prior to 2011, and something about you could get online and actually order this shit, like a salt shaker full of it. And they claim, he claimed, Joe Rogan said on one of his podcasts that you literally only need like a little pinch of it to get higher than you've ever been in your life, and this shit's supposed to be fucking like LSD on steroids, literally. Like way worse than shrooms or anything. You know, as far as hallucinations and stuff, I don't think you can OD on it or it can kill you, but you'll go on a hell of a trip if you're not careful. Which some people could find that, you know, a little bit disturbing. That's what I wonder, if they do legalize something like that and they start having these shops, how would they regulate that? Because, you know, you already got mummies who eat too many edibles and they fucking literally freak. Yeah. So I could see some, I mean, if they ate one too many mushrooms, holy shit.
Remember the
Imagine the dog tags?
that video
Yes.
we had that time on that one show?
Mm-hmm.
His wife and him ate hot brownies. That's what it was.
Yeah.
On myself.
Oh, measure originally included record sealing and resentencing provisions for people previously convicted of psychedelics possession offenses, but that language was removed on Thursday as part of an amendment from the sponsor. Under the bill, State Department of Public Health would require it to establish a working group to study and make recommendations regarding possible regulatory systems that California could adopt to promote safe and equitable access to certain substances in permitted legal contexts. What I was just talking about, basically a shop where you can walk in and buy acid, shrooms, DMT. I mean, if they do all that, we may have to consider going. I mean, literally. That's where we need to live if they're going to go and do it like that. That fucking blows Holland and Amsterdam out of the water.
It does, yes.
Well, that's where you're from, honey.
Tammy pays $1,000. My ex-husband, where he lives, paid $1,000. My daughter paid $1,000 for a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Things
but
My
are
sister
high.
rents her house for $1,200.
I don't think it's that much in Garberville. I really don't. You remember how
Go
it looked
northern?
up there. You go northern more. Let's see, what does it say? Says those recommendations would be due by January 1st, 2024. For psilocybin specifically, the legislation would repeal prohibitions in the California statute that prohibit the cultivation or transportation of any spores or mycelium capable of producing mushrooms or other material that contain the psychoactive ingredient. Mescaline, derived from peyote, is specifically excluded from the bill's reform provisions because of the nearly endangered status of the peyote plant and the special significance peyote holds in the Native American spirituality. There has been a contentious issue overall.
understand.
Yeah, that I can understand too. I'm glad
How
they're
long
doing
did you
that.
say it was for a peyote to...
5 years.
5 years
For
it
one
takes.
button to form.
Wow.
So you can imagine, yeah, there's no way that ain't like, mushrooms or even those plant roots. I'm sure they don't take 5 years to get a plant root. That would actually hurt the Native Americans if that goes extinct or they can't get it no more.
Yeah,
Because they do
that's-
use that in their spiritual practices. Remember, Quentin, he used to do that and stuff. Shit like that. I'm glad they're doing that. That part ain't mummyism, actually.
Yeah, that part isn't.
I'm interested to see where this goes because that could be a first in the nation, like Colorado was a first in the nation to legalize marijuana, recreationally. This could be a first in the nation if they really do pass it. That would legalize every psychedelic almost. Basically, they could start trying to study them out there, seeing how people are going to be reacting when they go in these shops like it's weed and they're buying it. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
It is kind of interesting. You have to see what develops.
Mm-hmm. Might have to, actually, if we went out there, we could start to bud a bowl and a shroom show.
Yeah.
Full-fledged.
Why not?
I mean, if we go right into it, I'm sure Kenny wouldn't mind.
Into the boat.
Right into the boat. It says, this has been a contentious issue overall, with advocates and indigenous groups divided on where peyote should fall within a psychedelics reform model. While the bill is being described by lawmakers and advocates as simple decriminalization, the official legislation analysis of the proposal states that it would make lawful the personal possession and social sharing of these substances. Meanwhile, a group of California activists announced plans earlier this year to put an initiative to legalize the use and retail sale of psilocybin mushrooms on the state's 2022 ballot. That group, Decriminalize California, said that it would first work to convince lawmakers to pursue reform and then take the issue directly to the people if the legislature fails to act. The psychedelics effort in California legislature, which we're first previewed back in November, comes as activists are stepping up to push to enact psychedelics reform locally in cities in the state and across the country. The bill notes those efforts in an explanation of the proposal. The Northampton, Massachusetts City Council passed a resolution earlier this month to deprioritize bedbug enforcement of laws against the possession, use, and distribution of a wide range of psychedelics such as psilocybin and ayahuasca. It's the third city in the state to advance the policy change following Somerville and Cambridge. Those are some of the latest iterations of a national psychedelics reform movement that spread rapidly since Denver became the first city to decriminalize psilocybin mushrooms in 2019. Besides the cities in Massachusetts, 4 others, Oakland, Santa Cruz, Ann Arbor, and Washington, D.C., have also decriminalized possession of plant and fungi-based psychedelics. In Oregon's November election saw
Wow.
the passage of a historic initiative to legalize psilocybin mushrooms for therapeutic purposes and more broadly decriminalize possession of all drugs. In Oakland, the first city where a city council voted to broadly deprioritize criminalization of entheogenic substances, lawmakers approved a follow-up resolution in December that calls for the policy change to be adapted statewide for local jurisdictions to be allowed to permit healing ceremonies where people could use psychedelics. After Ann Arbor legislators passed a decriminalization resolution last year, a city prosecutor recently announced that his office will not be pursuing charges over possessing entheogenic plants and fungi regardless of the amount at issue. The Aspen, Colorado...
So that's in Oakland? I mean,
Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. Ann Arbor.
Oh.
And it says that Aspen City, Colorado City Council discussed the therapeutic potential of psychedelics like psilocybin and proposals to criminalize such substances at a meeting earlier this month, but members said as it stands, enacting a reform would be better handled at the state level while entheogens remain strictly federal controlled.
Wow.
And that's basically news tonight. Well, you know, that will be really something if California does it. Like I said, that would be a first in the country. Now, they do have Santa Cruz, Oakland, and whatever else I just mentioned. A couple other cities in California have decriminalized the possession of psilocybin, I believe.
See, I didn't know that either before.
No, I didn't know that either.
That's
Now,
something new.
Oregon has decriminalized possession of all drugs. So literally meaning if you had mushrooms or acid or whatever on your person, it's not a crime no more.
Wow.
That's something that's different.
That's something good.
You know, plus if we decide to go back to bed, because we may have to, depending
We
on
might.
if Colorado goes in the tomb or not, like we already talked.
We're not loyal to one state right now.
No, and especially not after what's going on out here. You know, like we talked about.
Yeah,
We've been
know.
talking about this for days. You know, what we're going to actually do if shit hits the fan. And basically right now it's looking like go back to Oregon if the shit really hits the fucking fan good out here. But like I said earlier, I'm hoping Polis, he's basically our last line of defense right now. That proboscis monkey, I'm hoping to God that thing hits his desk, he fucking vetoes it, because he can.
He can.
He can do that if he wants. You know, that's his right as a governor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, you know, him signing, like he said, that 2-ounce thing to make it to where he can pardon more people. He's not a mummy. He's not trying to go back in his tomb. He wants to make it to where he can kind of help people more. Like they were saying, you know, people can't get into a house because of a past charge. You know, we actually had that problem coming here ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
we did.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we full well know exactly how that is.
Yep.
Just because you did something that, like you said, that what now would basically be considered legal, you did it a while back. Like, you know, I was saying earlier in the show, I grew a couple plants in the state of Illinois long before it was legal. And, you know, if I would have got busted for that back then, I could have had a charge that, you know, what's now is legal, you still have the charge on your record, unless you go do, like they said, petition courts and go and jump through the loopholes, you know, play the foot games, as I call
The
it.
foot games, yep, that's right.
My bony. Look. Take a quick break, everybody. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody. Special guest, Andrew.
Show.
Hey, Andrew.
So,
There he
I'm
is, everybody.
fixing to go on a straight rant. Not directed towards anyone, just how I'm feeling at the moment.
I don't think he can hear us yet.
So yeah. I don't own the rights of the music I'm playing, so Let me get that out the way. I'm really hoping everybody's having a better day than I am. But I'm not having a good day at all. My day turned out to be, well, what it is.
Okay, everybody. Special guest, Andrew Conche. Here we go. Show Andrew. I don't think our video feed's working here again.
So,
there we go.
Let's see.
Hey, Andrew.
Welcome. DJ White Wolf. Going to see.
I don't think the sound's working again. Having problems with the microphone.
Hey, Princess. Yeah, we're about to do our DJ thing. Y'all ready for this one? DJ White Wolf, welcome everyone. We live. I look like shit. I don't care.
That's Andrew. That is Andrew. That's the Irish Jadder.
Stream the view. Share it. Hello. This is Danielle's husband, DJ White Wolf. Only time on this rainy ass day. We're still gonna have fun.
That's Andrew.
No, Princess. Haven't heard anything.
It's Andrew. Welcome back, everybody. That was a special guest appearance right there with honest to God, Andrew, our good friend, down there in Waldron, Arkansas, bowels of the boat. Kenny, Andrew, everybody, viewers, fans of the Bud and the Bowl, it's that time of night again. It's time for us to sign out of the log pipe. So we're going to go right into the boat before we do. Doing a little bit of that toxic Kool-Aid, call it toxic cucumber.
You tasted the cucumber. I haven't tasted the cucumber.
Yes.
But you've tasted it.
I've tasted it a few times. Sometimes first time I thought it tasted like that liquid ass. That's a little different than the liquid bag. Yeah, we're kind of really going to go in that boat. Logshoes going to go into it first. Oh, it's over here. I got it. Logshoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to boat you real good. It's a lot. Yeah, Andrew, you might not knew you were going to make another appearance on the show again tonight, but you came on for a real good guest appearance. When you read the bowels of the boat.
Wow.
With or without the golden goat. said, when you're really in the bowels of the boat.
On toxic Kool-Aid.
Toxic Kool-Aid. With or without the golden goat. Kevin and Andrew, everybody, we hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you're really in the bowels of that boat, but good. We hope you're enjoying the Bud and the Bowl show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your social media, comment. Let us know what you thought of the show tonight. Really be in that boat, but good. Right in the bowels of it.
That's good. That helps.
Sometimes that's the only way to combat that paralyzing general feeling like shit. That time I didn't taste the cucumber too bad.
No, that's good. Remember when you were young, you used to tell me that you had to smoke just to feel normal? And I really never understood what all that was about. At that time, Fred was still alive, and I didn't smoke at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, Fred and that bullshit.
Mm-hmm. But you actually can.
Yeah, you gotta smoke to feel normal a lot of times.
Yes, you do.
My boating good.
It feels good, doesn't it, darling?
Yeah.
Real nice and relaxed. You don't have any pain.
Oh, sure. Well, everybody, we hope you really enjoyed that. It's been another presentation of a Bud and a Bowl show. Your host, the holy Bud Bum and Logshoes.
And Josie wants to be.
And Josie, and guest appearance.
Bye-bye appearance.
Globus Globus. See us back here next week, everybody. Bowels of the boat. Till then, stay nice and medicated.
Yep.
Pipes! Pipes! Pipes!